my God, guys! Wow, what a night one of WrestleMania. Um, Main events, just an absolute thing of beauty. Finally, after nearly a year of build, months of build, the drama, the emotion, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn ends as the new undisputed tag team champions. Rhea Ripley finally got her moment, finally beating Charlotte in a singles match in an excellent match before the main event. I tell you, that was rumored to be the main event, and I'm telling you, they gave it their all. To me, even though it wasn't a main event, they definitely was almost like they were in the main event because they put them second to last, and that I really like the structure, the way that these matches were placed. I feel like the placement worked well because the crowd practically for every match they stayed in it. It really wasn't one match that they weren't invested from the opener to the main event. I feel like the match card and with this being the first WrestleMania that Trips, was booking. I know Vince is back and stuff like that, but this is still the first one Trips is booked. And I gotta say, the structure, the way that the match card went, I definitely think, even the matches that weren't as great in some sense, the crowd was still on their feet. And man, what a show! What a show! I'm definitely looking forward to tomorrow night. But I really just wanted to come on here and briefly just talk about the main event and just some of the best moments of WrestleMania this far. First of all, like I said, main event was excellent. All the drama, Sammy wanted to join the bloodline, going as far back to April last year was his first interaction. You saw the emotion. Started off the match with him and Jay looking at each other. With all the stuff between him and Jay, Jay never trusted him. Jay never wanted anything to do with him. Jay never wanted him around the family. With the closeness he had with Jimmy, and then for them to fight it out, and you just had so many kickouts and near falls. You figured if anybody was gonna kick out of the 1D, it was gonna be this team of Sammy and Kevin. Sammy kicked out of the 1D. Uh, you know, he kicked out of multiple super kicks. He kicked out of the doubles. No, Kevin Owens kicked out of the double splash. There was one point where there was a combination of pop-up power bomb, a stutter, and a Luba kick. The Usos kicked out of that. The Usos threw Kevin Owens to the announce table. I mean, there was just all types of stuff going on in this, but it wasn't just a match. I mean, literally the drama, the emotion, every single thing clicked, and the way that it ended was just perfect. Because for a team that had been reigning as long as champs as these guys, for it to end in the way they did, three haluva kicks, and the man who gets pinned, Jey Uso. The man who pins him, Sami Zayn. When you think about all the history between them, everything he said, how they were falling, how he even said that he was mad that he wasn't mad that he struck Roman, but he was mad that he couldn't do it first. And when you think about the stuff that Cody said on Raw, is this the fall of the bloodline? They just lost the belts. I don't really know who's winning that match with Cody and Roman because we've seen Roman champ for so long. It would make sense for him to lose, but you know, it would take a lot for Cody to win that. I mean, this match here, you consider how much it took Kevin and Sammy to win in this main event. It would take a lot for Cody, to beat somebody who's been undefeated in single match for 3 years, who hasn't been pinned. I mean, in 3 years, he's lost, he's not been pinned. Uh, but man, everything about this match was excellent, absolutely excellent. Um, these guys, I mean, give the Usos a lot of credit. How they've definitely come a long way. We consider where they were on the card last year. Kevin and Sammy, Kevin main evented last year with Stone Cold, and then the main event again this year. Uh, Man, for him and Sandman coming together again, first time teaming together since WrestleMania 34 when they faced Daniel Bryan at the time and Shane McMahon. They were on the losing end, but this was just amazing, absolutely amazing. I mean, amazing, amazing, amazing. Before that, Rhea Ripley and Charlotte tore the house down. I think uh, Charlotte may have been one of the first people on the main roster to kick out of the Riptide, which was probably one of the best kickouts out of the whole match. I mean, that even had me stunned. There was a couple of nasty Germans that Rhea hit on Charlotte. One of them she did from the top of the rope, and there was another one she hit where Charlotte landed, and it looked pretty nasty. Um, she did not get Rhea in the figure eight. She tried to get her in the figure four and Bridget, but Rhea got to the ropes as soon as she got to it. They almost kind of teased the ref up, but it didn't actually happen. Um, but man, I mean, wow, this was just everything you would expect. These two ladies, like I said, they did not main event, but they were the co-main event. I mean, because they tore it down. For them to be right before the main event slot, they tore it down. And Rhea won with the avalanche riptide on Charlotte. Charlotte was just smiling after the match was over. But I'm glad Rhea got her moment. I really am. Their first match, Rhea lost at WrestleMania 36. It's funny because they never talk about how that match was for the NXT Women's Championship, but and what's even more weird is that they never seem to talk about their feud in 2021, where Rhea was Raw Women's Champion at the time, and it was actually Charlotte that took the belt from her Money in the Bank that year. It's weird that commentary never talks about that. They only talk about that first encounter. But they did have a feud, in 2021, and it just doesn't get mentioned for some reason. But yeah, this that match was awesome. Rhea got her moment as you would expect. She definitely deserved it. She won the Rumble. Hasn't really lost since joining with the Judgment Day. She's just been on fire. Um, you start to wonder when that clash between her and Bianca going to take place. I mean, we've seen it in NXT, but we haven't seen it, on the main roster. So maybe, depending on if Bianca wins tomorrow night or if she drops the belt, maybe they'll be saving that for next year WrestleMania since they said they're going to be in Philly. Dominic, excellent, really good match with his father. You figured Ray would pick up the win. And what made even more sweet was the fact that, Dominic just got a lot of heat. I mean, he came out like he was a prisoner and whatnot. Ray came out, looked like he was kind of wearing a Flash outfit or something. Not really sure, but he came out to a song from Snoop Dogg. It was a car with Snoop Dogg with one of Eddie Flow Riders, and came out with Eddie Guerrero's song. Then he came out with his theme, so that was a nice little touch. Um, but throughout the match, Dominic was taunting his sister, his mom, even threw a glass of water on his sister. She wanted to come out the ring and attack him. Ray, he got his mom face at one point. She slapped him, so he had that whole thing going on. Um, but there was one point where he hit his father with the 619 and frog splash, and Ray kicked out. There was there was points where Damien and Finn got involved, but then Legado Fantasma they came out and attacked them. So he had that whole thing. But it was a good match. Ray really sold well for his son, as you would expect. Um, there was one point he hit Dominic with a sunset flip, which looked really beautiful. And it was just good, just getting inducted to the Hall of Fame. Um, you could tell Ray clearly didn't want to be involved, do this. But ultimately he did what he had to do. And I could definitely see this going a little further, but that this was just everything you would expect. Um, you know, even just the fact Dominic came out with the mask and stuff and took it off. I mean, it was crazy. The crowd was. It's funny how much he's generated in the Judgment Day. And with Rhea winning a SmackDown Women's title, you just start to wonder, you know, is she gonna break away from the Judgment Day? I hope not. I still think she plays a vital role in the team. Um, and the least they could do is at least get Finn a win tomorrow night and not have them all lose and just her win. But sucks for Damien because he didn't have a match, but he was involved in this, so you had that whole thing. Um, you had the six women's tag match, which was fine. Uh, most of it was what you would expect in a regular six-person tag match, women's tag match or six whatever tag match. But Becky and Lita and Trish ultimately won. I kind of felt bad for Damage Control because they've just really fallen off. But yeah, they got the victory there. But it was a pretty decent match. Not too much I could say about that, but I don't know. Cena and Austin Theory opening was pretty much what you would expect. Cena with him being in movies and stuff now, I figured he wasn't going to do too much in this. Definitely the time of Cena when he was like, throwing out bangers after bangers or whatnot. Like at that, this particular point, that's pretty much over. So you pretty much got what you would expect from Cena, and pretty much Austin Theory dominated majority of the match. He did not win clean because the referee bump actually happened just as Cena got him the STF. He got him the STF in two different periods of the match. The first time though, Austin managed to get to the ropes, and then the second time he tapped, but the ref was knocked out. Then he hit him with the low blow, and went for the A-Town, got the win. The only offense Cena really got was just the shoulder tackles and the five-knuckle shuffle when he tried to go for the attitude adjustment. But Austin Theory got out of it. But mostly Austin Theory was pretty much dominating John Cena the majority of the match. So, pretty much what you would expect from Austin Theory. I mean, from, at this particular point with Cena, you figure he was going to put over Austin Theory. It's a really big match for him. And I thought I didn't think it was the best way to open the show, but I could also understand why they did it because you figure Cena with him being in movies and stuff now, he just wanted it would just be better for him to do the match early, get it over with, and not have to take too many bumps, but have at least a good. I think the match was only about 10 to 15 minutes, maybe like 10 minutes or so at the very least. It wasn't that long. And then the showcase match, Chad Gable was a star in that match. I mean, he hit a German suplex on Braun Strowman, which looked amazing. He was a star in that match. I mean, he just looked awesome. It's a shame that they're thinking about breaking up Alpha Academy. They're slowly breaking them up because this is only their second WrestleMania together, and they came in WrestleMania last year's Raw Tag Team Champions, and they, weren't able to do that. They were in this match this year, but ultimately everybody got their chance to shine. Strowman got his chance with the Strowman and Stress. Much of the match was actually Chad Gable and Ricochet going at it. The Viking Raiders got their chance when they, attacked everybody. There was one point where I think Ivar tried to go for a moonsault, he missed. There was that point where they went for like the that almost like a drop of doom spot. Ricochet landed on all of them. There was a point where Ricochet did like almost similar to the women's six-man tag where Io did a moonsault. I will say that was probably the best part. One of the best highlights of that match was the moonsault from outside the ring. And he actually did something like that in that match outside. But ultimately, it was the Street Profits um, who ended up picking up the victory. I think because Montez hit a frog splash, and then it was Angelo Dawkins that reversed one of it to a pin, and they got the victory. But I got to give it to Street Profits though, because they the first WrestleMania they ran that they won, there was no fans, so this was a nice way to give them some momentum from there. But I really thought though that Viking Raiders was probably going to win this, or that maybe, I mean, because they're breaking up Alpha Academy, I knew they weren't winning, but I kind of did want them to win in some ways. Uh, but yeah, every team got the shine. But I'll have to say Chad Gable was definitely the star of that match. But it was a nice little win for Street Profits for sure. Um, and then Seth Rollins and Logan Paul was another good match. Once again, Logan Paul looked really good in the ring. Rollins sold well with the punches that he gave him. He was like he got knocked out cold. There was a spot where some YouTuber, I'm not really familiar with who the guy was, but he got involved, and they were trying to get like a photo, like how Logan did when he frog splashed Roman Reigns, and he was trying to do the Sophie and take a picture as he was doing it. But this time the guy tried to do it. He put him in the front. Seth pulled him in the front, and he ended up frog splashing him. So that was a funny part in the match. And then he hit Logan with the pedigree, and Logan kicked out. And there was a part where Logan hit him with a frog splash, and Seth kicked out. So he had some pretty, decent spots in that match. And Seth ultimately with the stomp got the victory. The first win Seth at WrestleMania since WrestleMania 35. So that was a big way for Seth to finally win another WrestleMania after not winning one the last 3 years or so. But ultimately, I thought night one was good. The opener, um, you know, if you were really expecting a lot more from Cena, then at this particular point, you probably weren't gonna get too much really to expect. But I thought he did good for making Austin Theory look good and stuff. And showcase match was awesome. All the teams did really good for that. Street Profits got their moment with fans. I hope the women's showcase match is just as good. I hope they give that a lot of time, just like they gave this one a lot of time. It just kind of sucks that Randy Orton, is still hurt, because you think last year they were in that triple threat, and the Arcade Bro retained the belts. And it's just sad, that Orton. I mean, there's been rumors that he might show up at WrestleMania, but it's just sad the situation with Orton right now. Maybe he answered Bobby Lashley's challenge and beat him. I mean, who knows? But that's the other thing. You had The Miz basically say he did an open challenge, and Pat McAfee of all people showed up. I just thought that was kind of funny, but they made The Miz look like a joke at the end of it. So you just had all types of stuff going on, but yeah, like I said, just main event excellent, first night. I'm looking forward to night two, so that's pretty much it, guys. Set off, pretty much flex. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys later. Peace.